So maybe you've seen the color block portraits that people are selling on Instagram and Etsy, and they're popping up on TikTok and everything else. So let's just kind of look at how you might do that using the tools that we've learned already in Photoshop, using selections, shapes, and paths. So here's an example of one that I'll start on and show you. And here are some examples from online. And notice they're very simple. Typically no nose or eyes or any kind of facial features. Occasionally, like this person has a beard, so they'll do beards. I see eyebrows a lot, so I did eyebrows on my example. But you can do them with pets, you can do them with people, and you can see here that basically it's just a series of shapes. Sometimes people go even a little further. This one here has a background put on it, which is kind of neat. When you do full body, you can kind of get a better idea of who it is because of the body shapes. But either way, kind of a fun thing. So let's take a look at how we might do that. And I'm going to use Photopea just to show you how. This one here is not very many layers. As you can see, I added a beach photo to the background. But basically it's just the hair, the eyebrows, 2 pieces to make the top, and then a face and shoulder, so 2 pieces to make that. And then here is the picture that I used as my reference image. And so that's basically all there is to it. So let's get to it. I'm going to open up an image from here and then crop it so that it's whatever part that you want to do. Don't want to have too much extra in there because then you're going to have to trace it and so forth. I'll go ahead and get that part back there. So we'll crop it here. If the picture's really huge and you're on a Chromebook, I would suggest making sure it's under 1,000 just to be on the safe side. On a computer, maybe not. In Photoshop, it's probably not a big deal. So you have a couple of options, and I do kind of like to make a copy of the background, so I'm going to do that first so that I have one that I can keep on top above everything and one on bottom while I'm drawing. You'll always want to click back on the bottom one when you draw each new piece. It's just good practice so you don't mess anything up. So in order to do these, each layer has to be a shape, and shapes come from paths, okay? So when we've done selections, those are not paths. The marching ants, you can use those to make a path, but those are not paths in and of themselves, okay? So let's start, and we'll use the marching ants just to kind of get a feel for this. So I do suggest that you usually work back to front. So like you would do the body, the skin part of the body first because technically it's behind everything else. And then I usually do the neck shoulders area separate from the face, just so I can sit the face on top of the neck and let the neck go behind the head a little bit. I think it just looks better, and you can make it just a tiny bit of a different color so it's like a shadow. But that's just me personally. Okay, so let's look at, I'll use the quick selection brush, and I am again in Photopea at the moment. Probably this shirt's going to select really easy with that. So even though you really probably should do the skin first, I'm going to do this shirt. So I'm going to click down here. I clicked once and it pretty much selected the top part. That's the part I want. I'm going to do the bottom part separate because I can make it just a tad bit darker and it gives it more depth. I'm missing a little teeny part here. So I am going to take just a plain old lasso here and put this in here. Again, these don't have to be perfect because we're not even using this image. It's just a reference image. Okay, now, so we have to turn the selection into a path. How do we do that? You're going to go to the Paths panel. So over here, it's docked with the Layers panel, but if you can't find it, go to Window. We go to Paths, and down at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that's Selection to Path. Photoshop has a button also. It's got like a circle in it. When you do that, it creates what's called a work path. You'll see it there. Then you're going to see a blue line around. We always see blue lines around paths. If you draw a shape, it has a blue line around it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Layers, and then now we're going to create what's called a solid color fill layer. We haven't done that yet, but it's pretty simple. We'll get into it in the next chapter, but you're just going to click on this little button that kind of looks like moons. It's the adjustment layer button, and go all the way to the top. In Photoshop, it's called solid color. In Photopea, it's called color fill, but it's the top button. That's going to create a shape out of whatever you have selected. So now I have a shape that's that. I want to make it the same color as the top of the shirt. So I'm going to turn my top layer back on, which kind of hides this layer for a minute because I need the color from the top layer. So I'm going to click here, pick this orange, and hit OK. All right, now I'll turn the top layer off. So I'm using the top layer just to still color. All right, so there's that part. Now I can turn that layer off. And then I need to click off of that layer. So always go back to that background so the blue line goes away, because otherwise it like merges your layers together, which is not good. All right, so I'll try to do the bottom part because this dark part of the orange will probably select well. I'll use my quick selection again. So it selected the whole thing. That's not super surprising. It's also not a big deal because this part's actually behind the other part. But I'm going to take a lasso on minus and just get rid of all this part because I don't need it. And there. And again, this part here, it's going to be behind, so it's not a big deal. And I'm not going to include that part as skin, so I'm going to add this in here. So I'll just take a add to, and we'll just go down this, and we're just going to pretend that's part of the bathing suit as well. Okay, so now, what's the steps, right? Paths, convert selection to path. There it is. Back to layers, little moon button, that's an adjustment layer, all the way to the top. Solid color or color fill. Puts it in there. Then I like to turn that top layer on to steal the color. You can also cheat a little bit on this, and sometimes I'll click on the top layer and then just drag this down a little bit because I know it's going to make a color that's the same as the top color but just a tiny bit darker. All right, so there we go. Let's turn off all these other layers so we can see what's happening here. There we go. So we've got that going on there. The problem is we have no skin behind all of this because I didn't do that part first. So now I need to back up and do that part. So the skin's a little bit more complicated probably to select. You could still do the selection tool method, and if that works for you, that's fine. But I do want to show you the pen tool and the freeform pen tool. We use the pen tool for any big selections that are kind of easy to go around. Things that you would normally use like a magnetic lasso for, you could use a pen tool for. So I'm going to click and drag the pen here. Now in Photoshop, you've got like a whole bunch of buttons over there. There's a plus pen and a minus pen and all that stuff, but we don't need it. We'll be fine either way. I'm going to click on the background layer, and as we're drawing this one, we're going to probably have to turn the opacity down so we can see what's going on. You want to be able to fit it all on here as best you can because we're not going to be able to switch back and forth. I just can't quite get the in between here. On the navigator, which I can't get to right now, you can zoom a little more incrementally here. I still just, there you go. Okay, now I got it all in there. All right, turn that navigator off. Okay, now I'm going to take my pen tool. Remember, all this is going to be behind the orange parts, so I don't have to worry about exact placement of like this part here. That doesn't matter, right? These parts matter. The edges are what's going to matter. The part that's going to show it's going to matter. Okay, so here I'm going to click on my pen tool. I'm going to click here to start drawing. And the way the pen tool works is, here's my rule, okay? Like if you're going to the other side of the rainbow, then click, don't let go, and drag to make the rainbow, and then let go. Okay, so I'm clicking here. Here's the other side of the rainbow. So I'm clicking, I'm dragging, I'm not letting go, and I want to make that. Now, remember, we can't see, right? So before I click anything else, I'm going to turn the opacity down so I can see through this. Okay, now, so there it goes. Now I need to go this way. So here's the rule about this. If it's not going to make another rainbow, the direction that it's pointing. Okay, so see how this handle is pointing that way? If I click all the way up here, this is going to go way over there and then go up there. Okay, I don't want it to do that. So if this guy is not pointed that direction so that my rainbow would be right, and it's not, then you're going to point to this point and you're going to click it holding the Alt key. All right, see how that handle went away? So now it can't go that way anymore. So now wherever I click this next piece, it's just going to go there, straight there. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. It's going to go straight there, and then I can click and drag and curve. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm going to put this face in front of the neck, so I'm going to go ahead and go up a little higher than I need to go. All right, here we go. Let me just kind of keep, you just kind of pull till it's on that right. There. Okay. All right, we got it. Now we need to go across, so I'm going to hit Alt, because it's going to go up, or down, or somewhere. I'm going to hold down Alt and click on this point. I'm just going to go straight across, because I'm just going to come down here, so it doesn't really matter where I go. Okay, and then now we're just going straight down, kind of. I kind of need to also go that way, so we're going to kind of cheat a little bit, because this is also shoulders and not just the neck. All right, click. All right, now, think, rainbow. So is this going to go on a rainbow? Yes, this is already going to make a natural rainbow. So I don't have to do anything weird on this one. I'm going to click and drag here. Okay, that's good. Now this guy's going to go out there. Don't need it to go out there. I'm going to hold down Alt, click the point, and then I'm going to scroll down a minute, and then I'm going to come straight down. Now, again, the orange is in front of this, so this isn't going to matter. So I need to make sure it goes behind the orange. And then I need to come over here, and I need to go straight down because this arm needs to be there. The orange is in front of it, so it's okay if the arm's too fat, but it can't be too little, okay? And then same thing here. I need to make sure it goes behind the orange, so I'm actually going to draw this over here a little further. And then seal it off. Okay, so we've got this one drawn in here. It is behind everything, so it's in the right position. It is the wrong color. Let's turn this girl on. Click here, and then we're going to change the color. And you can double click it if this isn't showing, and then come here. In Photoshop, you have to double click it. And then let's go pick a color. So this is skin. See if that color is good enough. We'll hit OK. I can always change it later. Let's turn off this so we can see. There we go. All right, let's click back on the background so all the lines go away. I'm not like super happy with the shoulder there, but it's okay. Again, the face is going to go around like on top of this, so it's okay. The neck is going to go behind, so that's all good. But we have a good start here, and I think you kind of at least get the gist of how this works. So we would still need to do all the rest of these pieces. The face would be next, the eyebrows go in front of the face, and then the hair comes down in front of the face as well. Again, back on the background layer, use whatever you want to do to select the face. I'll try this. I don't know how great that's going to be. Oh, it's doing really odd things. Okay, thanks. All right, so I've got sort of a really awful selection here. I'm going to take my magnetic lasso on a minus and minus out just so I can get this. There we go. All right, and I don't need any of that stuff. All righty. Now, again, it's okay if we have too much face as long as hair's going to be in front of it, okay? So, not a big deal if there's too much face as long as your hair's, but we can always adjust these points later, and I haven't showed you how to do that yet, so we'll do that on this one. All right, so here's my selection. What's the rules? Make the selection, go to paths, hit the button, make it a path, back to layers, adjustment layer, color fill. There it is. We got to pick the color, so I like to turn on the top reference image and then pick the color. And I want to make sure to pick a color that's kind of pink on this one, and there we go. All right, we got it. Now, if we need to make changes to the layer, now let me move this one above the neck, okay, because we want the head to be above the neck. Let's turn this off. Oh, I have the opacity turned down here. I am constantly turning the opacity down. I don't know why. All right, so I don't love the way that color's looking. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click it, come click on the head, and then just pull a darker shade than the head, just a little bit. See that? And then they're like in that same color zone, and it just kind of looks right, okay? So there we go. Now, if you need to make changes to any of the shape paths, and you can tell the shape paths because of the icon in there, just come over here below the pen tool, the button next to the pen tool. Click and hold the direct selection tool. That's the one that you can use to click on points. And so it finds points anywhere that there's points. And there's a lot of points because I use the selection tool to do that. With the pen tool, you don't have as many points. But if I needed to move a select, oh, these are good. It would be awful to try to move, to be honest, because there's a bunch of them. But if I needed to move one, that's what I would do. I'd click on here, find the one I need to move. Oh, there's so many. Find the one I need to move, and I could try to move that out. Yeah. Not the greatest if you used the selection tool for that. Where I would use the pen tool, let's go down to the one that I use the pen tool on, this one. See, there's very few points, just where I clicked for points. So, you know, if you're a little concerned about how well your selection is going to be, you may want to go with the pen tool, just because that would be easier. Okay. Let me go ahead and show you the freeform tool, because I haven't showed you that one. So the freeform pen is for things that you can draw pretty close up, that you can zoom in on, that are little things. So I'm going to click and hold. It's called the free pen in Photopea and the freeform pen in regular Photoshop. So I'm going to click here. What it does, you click and drag and just draw the whole thing like a lasso. What it does is it tries to read your mind, and if you come to a point and go down, it thinks you want a point there, and if you curve, it thinks you want a curve there, so it does not always do what you want it to do. So like there, now I'm going to go down, I'm going to go over. See, it's not like I'm not quite getting it, but it's okay. Oh my. Okay, that's just a mess. Sometimes they're bad and you just have to delete them and try again. Now, it will put in points for you, so this is editable. So once I get done with it, now I can click on that direct selection tool again. And then this all has points. So you can fix it. So it's not really a big deal. It's kind of more of a starting point, and then you just kind of fix it based on how you need it to be. Okay, and let's put this back down here. And then, of course, you got to choose what color you want. I guess that color is okay. It's fine. And then same situation. Click back on your background layer. Take your free pen. Draw it as best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oops. Oh, I hate how it's doing that one at the end. There we go. And then you can go ahead and grab that color. Oh, that one's significantly darker than the other one, but that's okay. I'll go steal that to match here in a minute. All right. And then let's click on this one and grab the color from this one. All right, there we go. Again, if you need to make changes, switch to the direct select and make sure on the right layer. And then click on there and you can move points if you need to or whatever. I guess the eyebrows shouldn't hang off the face, right? All right. So here's what we got so far. And that's looking pretty good. And then all that's really left to do on this one would be the hair. So you don't have to keep watching if you don't want to, but I will go ahead and do the hair just so you can see. I'm going to use the pen tool just because I find it to be easiest. I'm clicking, you go to the rainbow. Okay, opacity down so I can see what's happening. And then I'm just going to make some pretend little waves in here, just kind of zigzagging. You can't see them. I may not like those waves later on, but all right. And then here, we're going to make a rainbow. So I'm going to come here. Okay, I want this to go that way, not straight up. So I'm going to hold Alt and click. And then kind of go this way. Well, I need it to be in front of the face though, kind of, don't I? All right, Alt click again on this point to go this way. Oh my goodness, I lost my... Ugh. Let's see if we can undo. I don't know that we can connect this here. Let's see. Okay, I held down Alt and clicked it and it let me connect it again. So, whew, scary stuff. Okay, there we go. Again, we want to make sure it goes in front of the face, so it's okay if it's a little bit farther down than it was on the original. And this is going to go in front of the face, so you need to be careful not to cut off a bunch of your face down here. Ugh, that one's not the greatest. I probably should have held Alt. Okay, Alt click, because I got to go this way. Okay, rainbow, so we're good. Gotta really get this going here. Alt click, because it's not going to go the right way. And I'm just going to seal this off for the sake of time. All right, there we go. So we got it back to the beginning, and then I drew that on top, so I can't see the other one, but that's okay. All right, click here, pick a color, and okay. All right, turn it off, turn the opacity back up on everything and see what it looks like. It's kind of weird, that one that I continue, oh, I don't know what that is. I'll get rid of that. All right, there we go. So that's kind of the beginning point. And then I would come back in here. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure I'm feeling these awful little hairs that I sort of made that aren't kind of exactly right. Probably would like them better if they were just little bitty ones. Like so, but it's fine. I'll live with it for now. Anyway, but you get the gist of it. So I can pull this in front of the face a little bit if I want to, pull any of these points in to make this picture just a little bit different, just to make sure that, you know, the face isn't getting, there's any white like showing behind it or whatever. But there you go. That's the basic gist of it. And then you can do whatever else you wanted to do to the picture. Oops, there's still a little bit showing there, but anyway. So there's going to be a lot of drawing, making paths, taking that direct select and touching things up, and a whole lot of picking the colors. But hopefully you have some luck creating a color block